Greetings, Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time we're looking at Terraformers, a brand new colony building survival game by Asteroid Lab. Terraformers places you in control of the first human colony on the Red Planet. Our goal is to build a colony to expand and thrive and hopefully make a new home for the human race. We're in a very unforgiving environment, so join me as I try to survive and thrive in Terraformers. Welcome to the Mars colonization project. A small step for the first colonists, but a giant leap for mankind. The shuttle has landed and your people are ready to settle on the Red Planet. Every man and woman on the ship is aware of the historic importance of the mission, and their great responsibility resting upon their shoulders. Their lives will be spent beneath the domes of artificial habitats, but they're not here for themselves. They're here to bring about the future of the human race. It will be a long time before a human can breathe Martian air, but everyone is willing to work tirelessly to make this day arrive. So Earth has sent some resources. We're going to get started. We're basically a group of people who are trying to ensure the future of the human race. Blazing a trail on a new planet. It must be a very scary but also a very uplifting experience. Being the first people to set foot on a new planet. Knowing that everything you do, you won't see any of the benefits. It'll be your children's children that will see it. So the first thing we need to do is elect our leader, and the different leaders all have different abilities based on their vocation. We've got George Romado, who's a construction expert. Looks like he's also got some prosthetic limbs. He has abilities in removing debris, earthworks, and also in constructing buildings, in this case living quarters. Very useful skills. We've also got Thomas Foster, who has the ability for exploration. He's a bit of a daredevil, and he's a go-getter. He would actually, I think, in the early game be a better choice, because he's going to give us a lot of extra abilities to be able to explore and expand fast. Now, the other thing to remember is that when you elect someone, they've only got a term of 1 year. So after a while, you'll have to elect a new leader, and whilst each leader is in their term, you need to use their skills to the best of your ability. In this case, we're going to try and explosively expand using Thomas's abilities, but we need to start off simple with a farm. Now, having a look at the colony, each of these points is where you can build a structure. And this game is very big on adjacency bonuses. So here we can see if we were to build a building with adjacency bonus here, the surrounding buildings here, and here would benefit. So we want to leave this blank, leave this empty. So now we've got a greenhouse. We're now able to get some food going. We can see each of our resources on the left here. We want to try and find mines, places to expand these resources to start getting a bit of a flow. And later on, we'll be able to trade what we find with Earth. For now, we've done all we can. We're going to start using the exploration ability to search the surrounding area for goodies. This area has a supply of silicate. Very nice. And more importantly, it's actually a place where we can set up a mine, which will get us a very steady flow of resources. Very useful. We want to try and hope that we can get a resource patch in each of the surrounding areas. Hopefully water, nitrate, metal, all that good stuff. For now, we can't explore any further. We're going to end our turn. Now at the start of each turn, you have a choice of 3 different projects And you can also, if these don't apply to you or they don't appeal to you, then you can keep the science points instead. Right now I'm going to focus on farms and power. At the start of the game, food and electricity are probably your two most valuable resources, followed closely by water and nitrate. Okay, so we can't do much more. We can actually build we can build somewhere for housing, and I'll use some of my power to remove this stone here. And again, remembering the adjacency bonus, we can place some housing in this area. I'm going to place a habitation module here. Beautiful. So now we've got somewhere for the people to live. And we've got some manpower to be able to expand to this silicate deposit. So each additional building you build will give you extra resources to expand to one of the neighboring points here. Let's hold off on silicate. I'd rather nitrate if I can find it. The resource study of this area has revealed small hints of nitrate, titanium, and silicates. Now, one thing I've noticed is there's a lot of grammatical errors here. The developer may not have English as their first language. I haven't found anything particularly egregious, but I think the developer could definitely benefit from a translator, or just maybe some QA. It's not a deal breaker, but just something I've noticed playing the game. Okay, so we can't build anything yet because we need water to build an additional farm, so we can't expand any further. So we can't build anything else. Let's end our turn. Now, these buildings we've already got, but this in particular is what I'm after. A tuber farm. Basically, it's and there's a bit of a reference to The Martian here. Mark didn't have such a bad idea. We can grow a lot of potatoes from nitrates. Now, I'm hoping they're not using human feces to grow those potatoes like in The Martian. But most importantly, this allows us to build a food source from something other than water. Nitrates is somewhat easier to find than water. Very nice. Continue exploration. The resource of this study of this area has revealed small hints of silicates and water. Unfortunately, there aren't any nearby mines. Hopefully there's something over here. We'll have to continue expanding to find additional resource points. We can't build anything for now. We're just going to have to keep expanding and hoping we can find some resources and some mines. I'm going to keep that expansion point up my sleeve for now. Earth has established a permanent trade route with us. With regular traffic between the two planets, we can expect our colony to burgeon and grow as long as we make the journey worthwhile for Earth-born travellers. What this now means is we can now begin to trade resources with Earth. Only a tiny amount to start with, but it's going to be vital for certain resources like water, which are harder to find. For now, an additional habitation module would be our best choice. Now, because we've got a little bit of a surplus of food, we can start trading that with Earth to get ourselves some nitrate. And that'll let us build an additional farm soon enough. Let's see what's over here. Oh, a titanium deposit. So we're very, very fortunate. Not only did we find a titanium deposit, we've also found a batch of supply crates which have a bunch of food in them. So we can now build a titanium mine and a silicate mine. This is actually very, very good. We've got 2 points right next to our main base, and we can now begin to expand out to them. So out of the two, I think titanium is going to be more useful, simply because we're going to need to construct buildings very early in the campaign. So let's set that up. Beautiful. So now we've got a titanium mine, which will be gathering some titanium for us. And the best part is, if we get a bit of a surplus, we can simply trade it with Earth. Now, unfortunately, in our trade deals, we don't really get any sort of exchange rate. It's kind of a one-for-one sort of deal. Every resource has the same value. But for now, we can use this as a stopgap to get the resources that we can't mine ourselves yet. Okay, so next turn. To increase their prestige, 3 big corporations are offering a gift of resources to one of your cities. Each corporation's resource package has different contents, but due to logistical considerations, you're only able to accept one. So here we want to try and pick the resource we have the least of, or that we need the most, and it's a pretty easy choice for us. We got a little bit of power, we've got a titanium mine, so water is a clear winner here. And here we've got another really useful building. This is one of the buildings I was talking about. It has an adjacency bonus. This will give an additional electricity output to every single electricity producing building in the area. More importantly, this is built out of silicate, which we have a mine for, so building this will be very easy. Now, power isn't a problem at the moment, but it will be if we don't start to find somewhere to start building power plants in. This base will probably not be it, because you've only got so many slots per base. But when we get a secondary colony in an area with a little bit more land, we'll set up basically a solar bank. For now, we just have to keep expanding, keep searching. Now, our friend here has the ability to mine resources, and they'll give us 5 of a resource. And I'm thinking, yeah, we don't have anything at the moment that I really want to mine. Only water. So let's expand. Our explorers have stumbled upon a crater that could be used as a great location to start a new city. The crater rim would provide some protection against radiation. Eventually it will be domed over to enable people to walk around and live more easily. Beautiful. So this place is fantastic. It'll definitely be a great spot for a city, but you can't found a city until you've explored this surrounding area, which we want to do anyway to get an idea of whether this is where we want to set up our new colony. New colonies are very expensive, so we need to think wisely and find the best location. Eventually we'll expand across the entire planet, but for now let's play it safe. To help with our exploration efforts, Earth delivered an array of exploration satellites to the Martian orbit. Beautiful. So now we've got some satellites, and more importantly we've got a tuber farm, which will allow us to grow some potatoes. We have one already, so that's okay. We'll need a lot of these, so let's continue looking. Let's use our fancy new satellite to explore an additional area. Your exploration party has discovered a breathtaking geological formation. So this is a feature that will surely be a symbolic landmark for the people. So we've got a bit of support and some resources. More importantly, this is a nice social area. By setting up tours, this will give us a permanent bonus to our support. So in addition to our material resources, you have a resource of support, which is basically the people's general feel towards the efforts of colonization. And if that ever gets to 0, it's game over for us. So we need to manage this very carefully. Now, there'll be things like disasters and decisions we make that may not be very popular, and this will fluctuate. We just need to make sure we keep it as high as we can. So for now, we're going to continue exploring. Another bug here. I've noticed this as well. The spacing in a lot of this area. These aren't game-breaking bugs, they're just small things, but I will report this to the developer. So we're starting to get a little bit of a momentum now. And now we have some more titanium. We can probably start trading this instead of trading food. So let's start trading titanium, because at the moment we have a surplus. And now we have some nitrate. I can build a additional farm. A tuber farm. Now eventually we'll get a soil factory, and that will allow us to exploit the adjacency bonus and get additional food out of these farms by improving the quality of the soil. Okay, we can't do anything more. Speak of the devil, here we go. Soil factory. So this will give us an additional 1 food per building close by. And this is one of the very important things that I didn't do the first attempt at this game, is to keep an eye on the layout of your base and have a bit of thought of adjacency. Plan your buildings so that you've got spots to put these buildings that help to give you those adjacency bonuses. Make sure there's a slot available, which you've got right here. Once we get the additional nitrate we need, we'll be able to really start cranking out food. Food's a great resource to trade because you can very, very quickly get a pretty big supply of food. So things are really starting to shape up now. We've got a bit of a rough idea on where we want to expand to. Now I think this crater is a really good choice. We're going to explore this area and see if there's good resources. But if I don't see anything else, I don't see another candidate for a expanded colony, this is going to be our best bet. So our satellite hasn't finished recharging. Let's just have a look and see if we can build something. Nothing yet. So it's going to be a while before we can build a soil factory, and it might be worth building an additional habitation module, which I'm saving up some food for. That will give us that extra expansion point, which we're going to need to get to this area here to found this city. So we're going to need another habitation module or a robotics factory, whichever comes first. Okay, so we've got a couple of different projects we can build here. Windmill farm for wind power, which is interesting because we're on the planet Mars. I don't know how much wind there would be, given it doesn't have an atmosphere. Public baths, which is great for support per turn. This is going to be really, really handy. And this is a great adjacency bonus. This will probably be our best bet. I'm going to get this one. This is going to give us some support, and it would be perfect to place it here. Okay, let's get this surrounding area set up. We've got another titanium deposit, not as urgent, seeing as we've got one already, But the additional titanium, of course, we can trade. One more turn and we can use a satellite again. You can see here we've got a very nice titanium stockpile now. And you can see here that the people over time have started to get higher expectations. What that means is we've improved their quality of life. As all people do, they want higher wages, better conditions. We need to try and strive to meet them. It can be quite hard sometimes. So here we've got a robotic hub, and this will actually give us 2 robots, which will give us 2 expansion points. And I think this is going to be really nice. So we're going to go for that. And we're going to build the robotic point somewhere in this city, probably here. But we're going to save that till later because we haven't decided where we want to expand yet. The resource prospection of the location has revealed a deposit of water. And some more titanium. Oh, here we go. So this is basically a water deposit where we can set up either a mine to get some water, or we can begin to terraform by trying to turn that water into an ocean. A mine is our best bet, but I mean this pretty much cements this as being our secondary location. For now, let's continue our exploration, because it would be even better if I could get a colony here. So let's expand. Our explorers have discovered an ancient volcanic lava tube. It's large enough where we could seal the holes and build a city. So here we have another location, more food. We could potentially build a city here. But to do that, we would need to expand this way. So you do need to have a supply. You can't just set colonies up everywhere. You have to tack them onto your colony. You need to have a supply line running back to your primary colony. So our best bet would be to set up a city here and then to set up a city down there. For now, let's continue exploring. I think this is going to be our best bet. We're going to set up our secondary city here. Now again, we're still waiting for the soil factor. It's going to be a bit of a slog to get to 22 nitrate. And given that we've unfortunately not been able to find a nitrate farm, we're going to have to rely on trade. Okay, we've got some nice projects here. And we've got a photovoltaic field, which will give us some power. An entertainment center, which will give us some support. Although that actually isn't too bad, but I'm thinking this is a better option. Or a telescope, which will give us a bonus science. Unfortunately, these need to be placed in a non-city area. I don't see the need for any of these right now. So we'll hang on to the science points. I'd have to actually expand to one of these blank areas and build them there. They can't be built inside a city, and we just simply don't have the expansion points to do that yet. So let's see if we can build the robotic hub. Here we go. And you can see that has given us 2 expansion points, which we're going to use one of them to expand to this city. Sandstones. Your exploration party has discovered a breathtaking geological formation. The winds blowing for hundreds of thousands of years has carved rock formations into beautiful shapes. So on top of some nice resources, we could potentially build a area here for guided tours that will give us a nice boost to our happiness, the support of our people. So I'm thinking this is probably going to be the best area to expand to, so let's do that. found the city. New Sarajevo. So we're going to call this Goatland, because why not? It's going to be red, my favorite color. And we're going to put the city, now again, we're thinking of adjacency. This has an adjacency bonus, so we don't want to put anything here. This has an adjacency bonus, so we don't put anything here. So therefore the best spot would be right here. So we now have a secondary colony, and I think the best use of this colony would be to set up some power. So we've got a resonance station, which we'll construct once we get to silicate. And we've got eventually we'll have some power plants as well. But for now we have our secondary colony. And we can, well, let's search this surrounding area and see if we can find anything else that we can use. This year marks the end of the new term. It's time to choose a new leader. So our president or our leader has ended his term, and we now need to pick someone else. So our choice, we're now expanding a little slower, which is fine. We want to try and shift gears into building. So we've got an expert in security who has the ability to build things like police stations and security points. I don't think we need that yet, because that's more helpful for keeping up your support. Or we've got Gustav, who is a Elon Musk style artificial intelligence expert, and he is going to allow us to use robotics to expand. And I think that's probably a better choice. So for research, I'm going to get another hub because we've used our robotic hub. And we can use the additional hub to expand in the other location, this way. Eventually setting up a bit of a network of interconnected colonies. So we've got some nitrate and some more food. We've got plenty of food. And finally a nitrate deposit. Oh, fantastic. So we'll need to expend a bit of money to expand in that location, but we desperately need nitrate, and we're going to have to expand there, because that's going to let me build more farms, and that's going to let me build soil factories, get our food production up, and then we can expand our population more and begin to expand further across the planet. Now, I'd love playing this game a bit further, but it's a very involved game. It's one I've played at least 3 or 4 hours in. I'm really enjoying the game so far. It's a very nuanced game. It seems a little bit easy at the start, but you do have to make a lot of decisions, smart decisions in the early game to set you up for the late game. And once you get the interconnected colonies together, things get a bit more difficult. You have to worry about the people. You can already see that my support is starting to slide. I need to start building entertainment centers. I need to start building cinemas. I need to start making people happy. I need to start expanding into these areas. Eventually, I have to think about things like setting up wind farms, solar farms, all that stuff. The adjacent area is where I'm going to be able to start setting these up. So if you do want to see more, please let me know. Happy to do a second episode on this. Hopefully you did enjoy this. I do heartily recommend it if you are a fan of base building games. If you like games like Power to the People, a lot of the other games that I've played around base building, colony building, this is a really good choice. It is an early access. It's got a couple of little issues here and there. The main one being the translation, but nothing really that I think is would seriously impact your enjoyment of the game. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you join me next time when we look at another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.